Hi, welcome to the Intervention Channel. I'm Steve Bruno. Today's subject is one of my favorite subjects. Oh, and if you've noticed, I'm in a hotel room. I'm actually on an intervention right now, banging out some of these subjects that I've had, I really wanted to share with all of you, with anybody who needs help for a long time. Trying to help this guy. He's really messed up, paranoid, drug-induced psychosis, the whole bit. Mom as an enabler, giving him thousands of dollars in cash. I mean, you think the addicts are crazy that I deal with. You should meet some of the families. Anyway, so today's subject is one of my favorite subjects. It is on handling objections. Most families that I get called from are honestly paralyzed in fear about this subject. They'll ask me, well, I mean, it's kind of funny because if the person was going to say yes, they wouldn't be calling me in the first place. But one of the questions I get is, well, what if he says no? What if Johnny says no? He's going to say no. And if he doesn't say no, if he says yes, thank God for small favors. But the way to handle objections is to prepare to handle the objections. You probably know what a lot of the objections are going to be. Well, what about my dog? What about my pets? What about my storage unit? What about my car? What about my apartment? What about my girlfriend? What about this? What about that? What about you? You're the one with the drug problem. What about your closet pill addiction? And, turns to his brother. What about your study aid that you use? Does mom know about that? So you know what these objections are going to be. One objection, interestingly enough, is, well, I probably would have gone, but now that you've done this intervention, I feel betrayed. And so how can I trust you? How can I trust you? You have to go into this, with your eyes open. If you do the planning well, I have a video on planning, and you do the offer well, I have a video on making an offer. If you write your letters correctly and lovingly and without a bunch of negativity referring to the addiction or beating the guy up, I have a whole video on writing letters. There's a chapter in my book. There's lots of data about doing all of this. The chances of him saying saying yes, he'll say hi and then boom. Now, the chances of him saying yes are probably equal to the chances of him saying no. So you don't ever plan for the addict to give you what you're looking for. You always plan for the worst possible case scenario, right? So you plan to handle these objections. This is going to be part of your planning stage. One of the big parts of planning is, okay, let's talk about what Johnny's objections are going to be. Well, he's got that cat. He loves that cat. Well, that car. Well, I know we got to make payments on the car. I don't know what we're going to do, get it repossessed, whatever. So you have to come up with some reasonable solution, the basis for which is what will be best to Johnny. If he has a dog that he doesn't really care about, but that follows him around, or a dog that he loves, take the fucking dog. Just deal with it, okay? You need to get well, I don't want to take the dog. I don't like that dog. Well, would you rather eulogize your kid, your brother, or take the dog? Take the fucking dog for a little bit while he's in treatment, Make sure that Johnny is getting what he needs, what he wants. If there's an apartment, for example, and you've got to tie off that apartment and get rid of it and get rid of the furniture, don't tell him this during the intervention necessarily. You can say, look, just go. Once you're cleaned up, we'll have a conversation about it. And this is true. Once a person cleans up, they've come in for a landing, they've detoxed, they're no longer biochemical, right? Their endocrine system is no longer completely upside down, and they have some degree of sanity. Then you can have that conversation about the apartment, or you can just go and clean it out and get rid of it, after he's in. But the intervention is a time for some manipulation if you need to play those cards. A game of chess is not a game of being an open book and open emotionally and all that stuff. No, a game of Texas Hold'em. How do you win? By tipping your hand? No. You win through tactics. I just wanted to sort of prep you for some of this. Click on part 2. I'm going to mention my book, More Than Hope. It's on Amazon and Kindle. My website is linked below. You can contact me there. You can ask your questions here. Anyway, let's go to part 2 of handling objections. It's going to be in the next frame. You're going to see a graphic and a big square that's going to have handling objections part 2. Click on that and I'll see you there. Okay, we're going to cover this subject thoroughly as we possibly can. And thank you for coming to the Intervention channel. I'm Steve Bruno.